Washington at Dallas. This one opened Dallas +5, and shortly after the Commanders won on Sunday night, moved down to 3. Now it's back up to 4. Look, there's still playoff seeding incentive for the Commanders, right? If they do
Yeah.
win, they're locked in at the 6th seed. They get the Bucks or the Rams. They got to travel, but they get the Bucks or the Rams. If they lose, they're the 7th seed. They're playing the Eagles. I mean, that's incentive to me. Do you want to play the Eagles or do you want to play the Bucks or the Rams? So to me, this should be a totally normal handicap.
And even more so, doesn't it feel like this is the type of game that Washington just absolutely rolls the Cowboys? Like the Cowboys, basically, I think we realized they've had their Super Bowl against that Tampa team in that primetime game. And, as bad as they looked against the Eagles, I don't know how much better they're going to play against Washington, right? These guys all have their trips booked. They're ready to go. Michael Parsons' comments after the game were just madly insane. Like, it just seems like a team that's kind of lost their mind at this point. The Cowboys, Washington, I think you just nailed it, right? This is a game they really want to win because it really defines who they're going to be playing in this playoffs. And of course, they want to come to Philly. Like you don't want to face the same team 3 times, right? We all know that. So, yeah, the fact that this is moved the way it's moved just makes total sense to me. Like the pros and the public to me will be on Washington. I could see this keep going up. Like to me, this should be 6 by kickoff. So the fact you can still get 4.5 on Washington, I don't hate that number. I don't hate that value.
You can get 4 at Bet365. This is one of those stats and systems that we mentioned.
Play Cowboys.
Play the Cowboys, right? Teams getting less than 30% of the tickets, cover the spread 60% of the time if they're off a game in which they scored single digits. Again, it's a weird stat because it basically tells you to favor the worst teams, right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the Cowboys this week.
We saw how big of a deal it was to lose CD though, right?
Yeah.
Like not having CD was a big deal.
I will say this. Cooper Rush, he chucks it, man. He's willing to play. He'll throw it into the fire. He still makes some good throws. Brandon Cooks stepped in nicely. And we knew the Eagles are kryptonite for Cooper Rush. His worst games as a backup have come against the Eagles. And I don't necessarily think he's going to mail it in. He's a backup quarterback who wants to do as well as he can. And I don't think Mike McCarthy's going to mail it in because I think he is still trying to win the games for next year. If I had to bet on if he will be the coach, I would say he will be. Next year, it seems like the sentiment is that the tide is turning on that. So to me, it's not an automatic with Washington. If it gets higher, I might just want to play the Cowboys.
That's fair.
So we'll put them on the list because why not? How much worse can it get for us?